Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to my channel. If you're clicking on my face for the first time ever, make sure you're subscribed down below. That way we can talk in the future, we could be friends, I'll be less lonely. It's like a win-win for both. Today we're going to get into a little review of BHCosmetics. Actually picked up 2 palettes from them. They were $12.50 a piece. So, I don't have high hopes, to be honest. I got these a while ago, and I did some arm swatches, and they actually came out really nice and buttery, but today I decided to test them on my eyes, so I'll give you a little review of how they actually blended and if they were pigmented actually on your face, and we'll go through a couple more swatches live on video. So if you want to see if this brand lives up to the hype, and if maybe you have found a loophole when it comes to high-end makeup products, then just keep watching. Okay, so the 2 palettes that I picked up, I actually got the Smokey Eyes palette, right here, as well as the Foil Eyes palette. I was really excited for this one when I got it, but I actually didn't pay much attention and didn't realize there were so many browns in it. When it comes to the colors of this one, it reminds me a whole lot of like a Morphe palette, maybe like the 350 when it comes to the way that they look. So we're actually going to get into these last, because first we're going to do these glitters. So I've been using these a lot lately. They're just these loose glitters. Again, from BHCosmetics. I got this one in the shade Pearl, and then also one in Night Vision. Night Vision is so beautiful. It is, I can't really explain it to you adequately because of the color that's popping up on the screen. But it's black, but there's also blue and purple in it, so it is a really beautiful color, and this looks wonderful just put on the eyelids. There's a little sifter in the top. You can see how much it sparkles. It is so beautiful. I use these on the daily, pretty much. So, especially this one, I haven't really found a lot of use for the black one. It's kind of out there, so there's not a lot of dark eye looks that I do. But with this one, you can see I've made pretty much a little dent in there. I actually have it on my eyes right now. I did it dripping down. These are obviously eye safe, so I put them everywhere. I put them all over here, as well as dripping down. I put a little bit on the tip of my nose too, because I just love glitter. I just put glitter everywhere, and it is just so beautiful. And so these, I believe, were like $6 or $8 a piece, and they just perform really well. So if you're looking for a loose glitter and you don't want to spend like $30 for a tiny little container from a high-end brand, then I would really suggest getting some of these. They perform exactly the same. Usually I'll put them on with a damp brush or a brush with a little bit of setting spray on it. You don't necessarily need glue. They really adhere to the skin really well. But if you're wanting to really pack it on the eyelid, I just honestly use basic like eyelash glue. Just wait for that to get tacky, and it's beautiful. So for those were definitely a win. But the most important part, obviously, is the palettes. So we're going to start with the Foil Eye palette. Like I said, I did use this on my eyes today. I used the other one more for blending. The Smokey Eye palette has a lot of lighter colors in it, so it's easy to use those as transition shades. But this one I just used for pops of color on the outer part of my eye. So this is what you get. They're a little dirty because, like I said, I've had these for a shameless amount of time and I haven't talked about it yet, but so they all come, most of their palettes are like these. They're like the 28 shade ones. They also have their baked eyeshadow palettes, which I actually bought one from them a long time ago, and who knows where it is, and I use that thing all the time. So this one just basically has, there's no mattes in this whatsoever. This is all foil eyes. I wouldn't even call them foil eyes. I feel like it's a little misleading. They're more of like a shimmery eyeshadow, but they still are very beautiful, especially when just looking at them. So we're just going to do a couple swatches of ones that really stick out to me. So when it comes to the white one here in the top corner, I actually use that as a highlighter. So I'll put it on my cheekbones. You can tell just a little bit. And it actually is so beautiful on your cheeks, on the tip of your nose, on your cupid's bow. I put it pretty much everywhere. Highlight underneath the eyebrow, things like that. So you can, these are versatile, especially if you have a little bit of a darker skin tone. You can use the pinker ones and things like that. But I stick with the white one. It just looks so beautiful as a highlighter. So when you initially swatch it, I mean, it is blinding. It reminds me of like Jeffree Star Ice Cold. It looks exactly the same, but just in eyeshadow form, just a smaller pan. I'm actually going to swatch this on my arm. So as you can see, it is very light. I mean, extremely light. You can't even see it, like the lights are just, there it goes. And it is so beautiful. I absolutely love that as a highlight shade. When it comes to another one, I've used this one as a highlighter as well. It's just this pink one right underneath. None of these shades have names, by the way. They're just basic colors that they put in the palette. And this one is really similar to the one above it. It's just more pink. Very shimmery. Both of those are beautiful highlighters. So if you're not wanting to spend $40 on a highlighter, but you need something extremely white, or you're not wanting to go get anything from Jeffree Star or anything like that, I completely understand. These actually can take place of that so well, especially this white one. I mean, you can put that all over your face and you're just going to blind the shit out of people. So let's see. We'll go into a little bit of this purple one. I mean, just look at the pigment on my hand. It is insane. Let's see what the swatch looks like. Absolutely beautiful. I actually used this one on the outer corner of my eye, but I blended it in really well so it doesn't look super, super dark. I mean, these literally, if you sit there and you blend them for 1 to 2 minutes, they're going to disappear. They just blend so well. They just sink into your skin. But the problem with that is they don't stay pigmented. The more you play with them, I mean, they turn so sheer, it's like they're not even there. They don't stay whatsoever. So you have to really play with them. If you're wanting something extremely dark, you just have to continue to build them on top of each other, kind of pack it into your eyelid, because the more that you blend, the more it's just going to disappear. Which is really odd, because, I mean, you would think that would be a really good thing when it comes to blending into your eyelid, but these actually just disappear so quickly. It's kind of like most of it is fallout. But once you work with it a little bit, it actually, you know, it comes out pretty beautiful. So, we'll do the blue one right beside it. This blue is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that. I can't think of a time where I would need to wear this eyeshadow. I mean, I'm not trying to be like Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman right now. Absolutely beautiful, very shimmery. I still kept putting swatches in front of the screen, I'm sorry. You can see how much shimmer they have. Not matte whatsoever. The last one, I'm actually going to take off these bracelets. Like, these match my shirt so well. It was like it was meant to be. But they're just getting on my nerves. I don't have adequate space for swatching. So we're going to go into this copper shade. There it is on the finger. I mean, obviously these are all going to be more pigmented when you're initially swatching them on a finger, but, I mean, they're just so beautiful. It's like, I can't even right now. Beautiful copper shade. We'll do one more just for the heck of it. So, let's see. We'll do this yellow. I have not found an extremely pigmented yellow eyeshadow. I mean, I have a couple from Coastal Scents, and they're actually pretty good. But when it comes to yellows, yellow is just a really hard shade. First of all, to pull off, and second of all, to get right. I mean, it's either too sheer or it's too brown. But this one's beautiful. This one is one of those ones which you're really going to have to work with, though. You really have to build this. What am I doing on top of my hand? You really have to build this one up, because when you initially put it on, I mean, it is really light. Very sheer, almost like a yellow highlighter if you wanted to try to work that out. But I mean, they're so creamy and so buttery that the more that you mess with them, they just blend effortlessly into the skin. But again, like I said, you're going to have to just build it up, or else you're not going to get that pigment payoff. So, another thing that I noticed is the pans actually get really, I don't know how to explain it. You know how, like, when you use something enough and it smooths down and it turns really hard and you kind of have to hack at it just to get it to come loose again? That's what these do, especially like with that yellow one. You can actually see the wear on it right now. Like, the more that you push it in, it just gets this weird film over top of it. You kind of have to like dig at it to get it to go back to normal. So that's one thing I've noticed, and that's pretty much with all of these. It's not just a one color kind of thing. Every single one of these, the more that you press into it and the more you use your brush on it, the more it packs down. And then from there, you have to kind of I usually just scrape it with the end of my brush and just get it that way. The pressed shadow aspect of it, I mean, I'm not saying that I would like these better if they were loose. I mean, maybe I would, but the way that it happens and how compact they are, it turns them kind of gross after a little while. So you just really, like I said, either use a wet brush, because that actually works a lot with these, or just hack it a little bit and get that to kick up and make it kind of like a loose pigment eyeshadow. But other than that, this is a really good deal for $12.50. I feel like I would really buy it again. I mean, I'm in no way, shape, or form ever going to make it through this entire palette. I just don't use it enough. But I mean, when I'm feeling it, and when I'm feeling a really big pop of color, of course I'll pick this one up. It's actually really nice. I have nothing, too bad to say about it. So, I mean, there's that one. Okay, so next we're going to get into the Smoky Eye palette. This one was the one that I was the most excited about. Here's the packaging on it. I've actually used this one more than the other one. So when I open it, just don't judge me. It looks disgusting, okay? When it comes to the weight of these, again, I compare them to the Morphe palettes. I mean, they feel exactly the same, except these have like the clear top on them, not the black. But they're actually pretty much a dead ringer for the way they look. So, these are the Deep and Smoky Pigment, a broad range of richly pigmented shades to create the ultimate smoky eye, with 28 gorgeous shades for vivid brights to velvety mattes and soft shimmers and sultry glitters. You have the power to create a different smoky eye look for every day. Now, the one thing, first of all, again, I say it's dirty, so you can't really look through it. The one thing I'll say about this is there were not enough mattes for me. When I think of a smoky eye, I don't think of a bunch of glitter. I think of really dramatic, blown out matte eyeshadow. So I was a little confused when I got this, but nonetheless, they're actually really beautiful. Again, I say it's dirty. Like, I mean, you have, what's the only mattes you have? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd say about 9 mattes. I'm sure they're trying to pass off a couple of other ones in here as mattes as well. But the more that you look at them, the more shimmery they get. There's a lot of glitter just packed into these. So when you're blending them, they're not stay put colors. You have to really work with them. There's only a couple that you could base your eyelid with. You can try with this white one, which I usually can accomplish it, but there's a lot of shimmer in it. It's a little off when it comes to a matte, so I'm not sure if they intended it to be that way or if it was meant to be one of the glittery shades, but you would think that the only white or cream shade in the palette would be matte, and it's not. So it's a little interesting, but there's also this pink one, which is matte, which is really nice. You can base your lids with that. The only problem is, out of every single shade in here, I can never get this one to give me anything. I mean, I'm not sure if you could tell, there's barely any payoff when you even touch it, which is weird. I mean, most eyeshadows will disappoint you when you put them on your eyes, not when you put them on your finger. So it's a little weird, but like I said, I'll just scrape it up a little bit and see if maybe if it's a loose pigment, maybe it'll go on a little bit better. I've been able to work with it before, just when testing them out, and you can get it up to about that shade here. I mean, but that's not going to give anything to you, basically, in the form of like pigmentation. You can barely even see it on my skin. It's like this is my skin color, and it is not intended to be whatsoever. So out of all of the shades in this palette, that is the one that literally I could just depot and throw away, try to replace it with something else. So also, another one that I have a big problem with is this red one. So when I got this shade, I was super excited. I mean, I don't have any red eyeshadows in any of my palettes, I don't think. I mean, maybe a couple from Coastal Scents, but those are not in an actual palette. And it looks so nice. I mean, primary red, 100%. Like, I was really wanted to do a vampy look with this. It looks really nice on your finger. There's a little bit of shimmer to it, not much. Swatches terribly. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'll put this one on top of my hand as well, because I'm running out of room. I mean, literally, it is just I don't know how to explain it. It's more pink than anything. It's like a hot pink that they're passing off as red. And it is so patchy. So beyond patchy, I just can't even right now. It annoys me how upset that I got over it because I was super excited for this red. It did not happen the way that I thought it would. The more you build it up, the patchier it gets. I mean, you can see, like, literally I've been blending it into my skin, and there are just parts where it breaks away. I can't put this on my eyes. I have tried many times and never have succeeded. And so I think this one's just basically a dud. I'm not sure if it's just my palette or if it's everyone's, but for me that was a big no. Alright, again, so we'll go into, let's see, this purple one up here I actually really like. This one is not a matte, this is one of the shimmery shades. On the finger, it is a muted purple. It has a lot of like a gray kind of tint to it, very shimmery. I absolutely love this shade. The whole palette is worth it just for the shade, to be honest. I mean, it is beautiful. It is my favorite purple in the whole wide world. It matches my backdrop, and it is just amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend that one specifically. I literally have thought about just depotting, because you can actually take these out. They're just the metal pans that go on the palette. You just have to be really careful when depotting them so you don't stab the shit out of them. But I've thought about actually taking this one out and putting it in with my Coastal Scents little palettes because it goes well with a lot of the other purples that I've bought from them. So, you know, to be honest, that's really the only shade in here that I'm extremely obsessed with. Also, well, it's going to be a lot of purples. Purple is my favorite color, so this one right underneath it, and the one underneath that as well, we're going to swatch that too because those did not disappoint me whatsoever. This one, beautiful purple, has a little bit of a copper undertone to it. I mean, you can just tell it's not completely purple. Absolutely beautiful. We'll swatch that on the top of the hand. Extremely, extremely pigmented. It blends in like a dream. I like to use this one for halo eyes. The more you blend it, the more of the copper you actually can see. It blends so wonderfully. And then we'll do the last one right here. It's just this deep eggplant color. This one you do have to work with a little bit to build up the pigmentation. But again, it blends so well. I absolutely love it. All of the purples in here are pretty much a hit for me. The one that I saved for last to tell you how disgusted I was by, I mean not disgusted, but super disappointed. I already know, first off, it's really hard to pull off a black eyeshadow. They put this one in here and I was thinking to myself, first of all, you need a black eyeshadow for a Smokey palette. I mean, that's more or less implied. But I was thinking to myself, this looks so dark and it looks like it's going to work so well, but I was disappointed. So we'll swatch that. It is not black, first of all. It is gray. This is not good for blending whatsoever. You really need a black matte when it comes to smoky eyes to actually blow that out and make it look extremely dramatic. With this, where you put it is where it's going to stay. It's not going to blend and smoke out and look so overly dramatic like you're going to some sort of event. It's going to look like you set black on there with your finger and you just left it there. That's exactly how it's going to look the entire day. It doesn't get any better. I've tried wetting the brush with this just to see how it would work if it was a little bit more creamy, and I've also kicked it up just to get it to loose pigment. It basically just falls off the eyes. It does not blend into other eyeshadows. I've even tried it with another palette just to see if maybe it would work a little bit better with something else with a different formula, but it does not work whatsoever. This is exactly what you get. I mean, there's absolutely nothing there. Nothing. If you wanted to maybe base your eyes with this and just go for a grungy look for the day, I mean, I wouldn't be against that whatsoever. It just looks like ash is all. There's nothing special about it whatsoever. Does not work for me. Is not a black that I would use on a daily basis. So in all, I think the one that was most worth it for me I would say it would have to be this one just for the purple specifically. If you're not a really big fan of purple, then I'm not sure if this is going to be something that you particularly like. I mean, for the price, it's pretty amazing for the price. I'm not going to lie. Like, all the ones that you're getting in here that do live up to the hype are worth the $12.50. So I would really suggest this one if you're not wanting to spend $65 plus on a giant eyeshadow palette like this. I mean, you can also go the Morphe route, which, I mean, they have their issues sometimes as well when it comes to pigmentation, but when it comes to the price, as long as half of them in there are pigmented, I'm actually very pleased. So I will use these, not necessarily on a daily basis, but every once in a while I'll pick them up. I think I'll probably use this one again, maybe in a tutorial when it comes to actually wetting the foiled shadows, maybe doing a little tutorial on this purple eye look with the glitter. I actually put the glitter on my lips too, which, I mean, it's gritty, obviously, it's glitter, but I just put it on there with the lip gloss, and it actually lasts all day. It looks beautiful. I absolutely love it. I love putting anything shimmery on my face, on my lips, on my body, in my hair, on my nails, everywhere. That's just the kind of person I am. So, of course, I'm just going to rave about these. If I had to pick something that was my favorite out of this entire mini haul, it's going to be this in Pearl. I would really suggest these. It just brings your eyeshadow look to the next level, and it just works so well. So anyways, that's all I have for you today when it comes to BHCosmetics. If you're interested in any of the items that I got here, or if you're wanting to check them out and see what other things they have, I mean, they do collaborations all the time. They have new things coming out, I mean, constantly. They have a brush collection, which I actually have a couple brushes, but I don't really use them. I didn't want to put them in here for the sake of time. But if you're wanting to look into any of this stuff, you're wanting to see what else they have, I'm going to go ahead and link them below. That's basically it. That's all I have for you. So I thank you so much for watching. Again, I say if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, a comment, talk to me. I'll talk to you, and we'll be friends. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.